What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Back Pocket Pod. NFL Week 1 is officially over. We did our Week 1 predictions. Obviously, we got the Giants game horribly wrong, which we will get into today. But NFL Week 1 recap. We'll be going over several topics. The Chiefs, Joe Burrow and the Bengals, Jordan Love, Justin Fields, Tua McDaniels, and Tyreek Hill. And then we'll end it off with me and Charlie's favorite segment, our favorite team, the New York Giants, who possibly played the worst game of football I've ever seen. And my high school was the worst football team I've ever seen. I think I've seen them play better football than the Giants yesterday. My name is Kean McDermott. I am joined by my lovely all three co-hosts, all from different locations.
See you guys again.
Charlie Nidell, coming from Syracuse, New York. Charlie, how are you?
Doing great. Excited.
And Suraj Kadali, finally back on the show, coming from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Suraj, how are you?
Doing good. I've been away for a minute, so good to get back on.
Boys, obviously week 1. Let's hop straight into it with the Thursday night game. Detroit Lions faced off against Kansas City Chiefs. And I would say a shock upset win, but Charlie and Dylan, obviously, who are on the week 1 predictions. And I'm not saying I picked the Lions to win because I didn't, but I did say that there was an inkling of hope for them and that I thought this game would be a very good game. And it definitely was. Obviously, the Chiefs did not have the pieces they wanted. No Kelsey, obviously no Chris Jones as well. But I want to pose this question to you guys first. Do you see this game as more of a negative on the Chiefs or a positive for the Detroit Lions? Dylan, I'll go to you first.
Well, the obvious answer is both. But if I had to choose one, I would definitely say a positive for the Lions because they went out there. They played against Patrick Mahomes. I don't care who his weapons are. He's still Patrick Mahomes at the end of the day. And they won the goddamn football game. You have to be able to beat good teams to make the playoffs. I didn't believe the Lions were capable of doing that prior to this game. They went out there. They did what they had to do. They had the balls to go for it on the fake punt. They had the balls to go for it on 4th down. They were able to do it. And Dan Campbell, I have loved him from the start. He's there to stay. The Lions, they did the job.
Yeah, this is definitely much more of a positive for the Lions as opposed to a negative for the Chiefs. I don't see this game actually being a negative for the Chiefs. The only thing that it does is, it's one less win at the end of the season, which, could end up, really affecting something, and it could end up not really affecting something. But I do think that this was
definitely a positive for the Lions. I don't even think they played as well as they could. But I definitely think that, Travis Kelce being in this game would have changed this game by so much. And I think, while you said this wasn't a huge upset, I do think this was a huge upset. Again, this would not have happened if Travis Kelce were on the field. This only happened because of the curse of Kadarius Toney, which, whose evil spirits I have warded off every day since then. I'm genuinely serious. And I think this isn't really a negative for the Chiefs. It's not going to end up mattering that much. Maybe it costs them the number 1 seed, but I don't really think even costing them the number 1 seed is going to matter because they're just going to go throughout the playoffs and they're going to win in the playoffs. So
yeah. And sir, just before we get to you, I guess kind of speaking on like if Travis Kelce was there, they would have won that game. If Chris Jones was there, they would have won that game. I don't know if you guys saw, there's a clip of the commentary on the game saying for the Lions that this was an asterisk of a game, which I thought
that's a bad
that's wrong.
And I really do like Mike Tirico, but that was a poor statement on his part. It was not an asterisk. They went out there and beat the Super Bowl reigning champions, so that's no way on earth.
But it's Surge Surge always gets the short end of the stick. We all three talk for 10 minutes, and then Surge, we'll get to you in a second. Just quickly before that. But again, I think if it wasn't the Chiefs, no one would say that because every great team has games where they don't have their best players and maybe they lose a game. But I do think that because it was the Chiefs and because it was Patrick Mahomes, there is some bias there. But Surge, first episode. So choose your words wisely because these are your first ones. We've already made our mistakes, so we're good. But this is your first one. Surge, how do you feel about this game?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Dylan here in the state that I think it's really more of really how good the Lions are to compare to how bad the Chiefs, not how bad the Chiefs are, but obviously an indictment on the Chiefs' performance. And I know that I was talking to earlier, and I thought that this was really a poor performance from Kansas City. And I thought that this was a reflection of really that maybe they need to make some moves in the AFC if they really want to go far like they have the past few years. But at the same time, for the Lions to not even play their best game, they had some mistakes. They had that Marvin Jones fumble in the red zone. The Chiefs defense surprisingly played them very well, but their defense, again, I understand Mahomes didn't really have any weapons, but at the same time, like you said, it's Patrick Mahomes. So if they were able to hold him to 20 points at home, and we know the Lions offense is really good. We know Ben Johnson's a great play caller. That we know they have a great offensive line. Goff is a solid quarterback. They have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs. I know we didn't really have a great performance. He didn't have a lot of touches week 1, but he's going to be a huge part of this offense. And then they're going to get Jameson Williams back. We know this offense is good, but the defense was something that a lot of new pieces wasn't really going to all come and click together. And it really did week 1. I think this performance kind of shows that they're probably the favorites in the NFC North.
Yeah, 100%. I think for again, and like I said, I will continue to credit myself for saying that I thought this could be a close game. And again, Charlie, I know, was not a very big Lions fan. Me and Dylan were. Dylan, to be fair, has been a fan of the Lions for quite some time now. But again, it was just kind of one of those games where I feel like you could feel it. Obviously the Chiefs with, really nothing there. Obviously the Kadarius Toney drops didn't make it better. But I think for the Lions, it definitely is a huge boost. You go into Arrowhead, which is classically one of the hardest places to win a game, especially the first game of the season against the Super Bowl champs against Patrick Mahomes. So I think for any commentator, any analyst, anyone kind of taking it away from the Detroit Lions, saying that, yeah, whatever, Mahomes didn't have his weapons, I think is just through and through false and unfair to a Lions team that has obviously put in years and years of work and signing players and going through kind of trials and tribulations. So for a Lions team, this is so inspiring because, this is a team that a lot of people are expecting to make at least make the playoffs. I think they 100% now are like, okay, we are a playoff team 100%. So I think for the Lions, is set some high expectations for them. But I want to just give one more thing before we move on to the next game about the Chiefs as well. We obviously saw, and I'm not sure if these were confirmed rumors, that Mike Evans may have been on the trade block. Maybe the Chiefs go and look for him. Do we think the Chiefs make a trade deadline move for a receiver? Maybe it's a Mike Evans. Maybe it's, I don't know, whatever other receivers are on the market. Or do we think they just stick it out?
I mean, I don't think it'll be a trade deadline move because I think it'll be in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think this is, after Thursday, sorry, it was so blatantly obvious that they needed someone. There's only one quarterback in the NFL that could convert on a 4th and 25 with a perfect pass over the top of the defense and have it get dropped. There's no excuse for what the Chiefs receivers did. And while I disagree that, obviously there's no asterisk next to this game, Chiefs team. When Travis Kelce plays, when Chris Jones plays, this is a different team. And I'm not even totally sure that a receiver needs to be added because Travis Kelce is that good. But if they're going to be adding a receiver, it's going to be sooner rather than later.
Travis Kelce. Sorry, go ahead.
All right. Thanks. I think a lot of it comes down to next week's game against Jacksonville. This is going to be a tough game against another AFC team that really could kind of cement themselves as a powerhouse themselves. Jacksonville, I know, kind of a very close win against the Colts, but with Trevor Lawrence, he looked good. Calvin Ridley looked really good. They still have a bunch of other weapons, ETN, Christian Kirk. I think if they go actually, they're hosting the Chiefs. So if they beat the Chiefs, go 2-0, the Chiefs go 0-2 to start the season, I think that's when panic mode will set in, especially if Kelsey's back and they still lose. I think it's going to be a big message that'll be sent to the Chiefs that they need to get a receiver in if they can't win these games against their fellow competitors in the AFC. So I think next week will be a huge kind of measuring stick for guys like Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, Rashee Rice, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. So it's tough. I don't know. I think it's up in the air right now, but definitely was not a good first showing for them.
So I actually strongly doubt that Kansas City is going to make a play at the deadline anywhere before then, or even potentially. I'm not going to make a guess on next offseason because I'm just going to say for the deadline, I really don't think they're going to make a move. They've invested a lot of draft capital, money, and time into the receivers that they have right now. Sky Moore was a high pick. Rashee Rice, high pick. MVS, pretty big contract for a third-string wide receiver. Kadarius Toney, you traded a pick for him. And then you have Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, who will get you to the playoffs regardless of how useless those guys might be. And I still think those guys that you have in there will succeed at some point this season. So I don't think KC's going to have to make a move for a Mike Evans. They're going to be fine regardless.
Yeah. Move on to the next one. Speaking of very good quarterbacks who didn't play very well, Joe Burrow and the Bengals score 3 points in a 24-3 loss against the Cleveland Browns. Credit to Dylan and Charlie. I took my credit. I will give it back to you guys now. Both predicted the Browns to win. If I'm not
Charlie,
wrong.
How do we do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, something felt right about it. It was like one of those two divisional games, no matter who's playing, both teams can always win, except for Giants and Cow.
Yeah. Especially the history behind kind of the Browns and the Bengals. You know, the
Browns and Bengals. Just that division as a whole always gives us entertainment. They always give us great games when it's interdivisional matchups. I'm not sure there's a lot to say on that. That game wasn't on much. I was watching Red Zone. It just wasn't on the TV much because it was such a blowout. But yeah, it was a relatively boring game. The Browns played a good game. The Bengals didn't play a good game. We've seen a lot better from the Bengals. I'm not too worried for them.
Yeah, and I think and it kind of goes back to, I'm not sure if we talked about this, but we might have. I think we did. But it was just how the Bengals are in the regular season, not underwhelming per se, but not the team that they are in the playoffs. I guess I'll pose it like that. I think this team is a very much a playoff team that kind of turned it up in the playoffs. So again, I kind of pose to you guys again, like, is this really an indictment on the Bengals, or is this just okay, that's the first loss, brush it off and they'll be fine? Because if you watch that, T. Higgins or Joe Burrow look good. Jamar Chase was not in the game. T. Higgins was not in the game. And, you know, Jamar Chase was a guy who we know how good he is. I think when you look at, and Dylan's going to hate me for this, if you look at pure talent-wise, top receivers in the NFL, I think it's Chase. I think it's Justin Jefferson. I know Tyreek is obviously fantastic, Dylan. I'm not saying that against it. But I think when you look at receiving as a whole, they're two players who are just obviously, I think you can compare a lot to. And Jamar Chase was not in that game. T. Higgins was not in that game. Whatever, it was rainy, blah, blah. But it's a Bengals offense that has a lot of talent, and to score 3 points is embarrassing. So, Serge, I'll go to you. Just what do you think of kind of what it says about
one interesting common denominator in Joe Burrow's career is he's always missed a significant amount of training camp for each of his years. Like I think last year it was, I forgot what it was last year, some sort of back issue. I think it was something that where he missed a few years. This year, obviously, with the calf strain a few years ago with the coming off an ACL injury. And I think similarly what we've seen in the last few years at the Bengals, at least last year, they really started off the season really slow. And I think that really affected them. And they really it took a few weeks for them to really kind of get in the groove. And eventually then we saw Burrow clicking, Chase clicking, Higgins clicking. But I think we're going to see kind of the Bengals I think they're fine. I still think they're the most, in my opinion, they're the most talented team in the AFC on paper. But I think at the same time, this is kind of a game where I picked the Bengals to win, so I'm not going to take credit. But I also, me and Dylan, we've been talking about the Browns are a really good team on paper. And I don't know how many people have acknowledged that, but offensive line is good. Defensive line really improved with the additions of, I forgot, what's his name? The guy that came from the Texans. I know they signed Zadarius Smith, and they signed the guy, I don't remember his something.
Texans?
Yeah. It was another edge rusher. But they signed multiple, they invested in the defensive line. Their secondary was really good. They, like I said, I think I saw a graph where like they had almost like 100% of like well covered plays against Higgins, against Chase. They're a really good team. Like I think I can't really see a real weakness in this team. I think except for maybe Deshaun Watson, if he really can't get it together, because he wasn't really that good either. Again, I know it was the rain, but at the same time, it wasn't a great performance from him either. So I think Cleveland are a team that's really built to be a playoff team if Watson can get it together. But I think the Bengals also will be fine. Really, it wasn't an inspired performance, but I think they'll be okay. But I think this is more of a takeaway that I think Cleveland are a team that could be for real this year.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. As you said, we have been talking about this. I think Cleveland is one of the better teams in the AFC. Even though they might finish third in that division, that doesn't take anything away from them. In Cincinnati, it was rainy. Burrow's been out. Don't sweat it. You'll be fine. you do have to start to think about where you're distributing the ball to, because 8 targets to T. Higgins, no completions. They should have figured out earlier that Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome, whoever's on, they're not letting him go. So you want to try to find a tight end, try to get the running backs involved in the pass game. Joe Mixon, no involvement in this game. I could see a heavy drop off from him this season. They might want to start rotating to Chase Brown, rotating to other pieces that can help them on the ground. Cleveland, though, Nick Chubb, no big rushes on the game, still over 100 yards. That's what's going to win you football games. Time of possession, keeping the football. Deshaun Watson had a bad turnover, but other than that, I didn't think he looked all that bad. So Cleveland is definitely the takeaway from this game, more so than Cincinnati for me.
I'm actually going to disagree. For me, the bigger takeaway is Cincinnati than Cleveland. I think that, you said Cincinnati, don't worry about it, you'll be fine. And while I agree, I do think that the Bengals will be fine overall. This is a
There it is.
Are you kidding me, bro?
Well, while we wait for Charlie to come back.
Oh,
there
wait,
it is.
there
There
you
it is. There you go. There you go. There you go.
Sorry, where was I?
You were at, well, just restart with the Bengals.
Okay. Hang on. Sorry, I just said my. All right. Um, Dylan, I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. I think this was a more telling game for the Bengals than the Browns, because I think that, you said the Bengals are just gonna be fine. Like, you'll be fine, totally fine. I have to disagree, because I think the Bengals, Keen, I think you were trying to point out earlier, was the Bengals aren't the Chiefs. The Chiefs can lose a game or two, but either way, they're gonna win 13 or 14 games in a season. Like, it's just, we know it's gonna happen. They're a regular season team as well as a playoff team. The Bengals, as you said, are not as much of a regular season team, even though they win in playoffs. But for me, in this AFC, they have to worry about even making the playoffs right now. A 9-win team's not a guaranteed playoff spot in the AFC. While I think the Bengals will win more than 9 games, and I think they will make the playoffs, the Steelers, Browns, and Ravens is 6 really hard games. And they're already 0-1 in those 6 games. And if they drop 3 of those 6 games, which the best team in the division should not be doing, you just never know what's going to happen. They've got tough games on the schedule because they were one of the best teams in the league last year. I'm genuinely worried about the Bengals, because the fact that they had to bench all of their players because they were losing, just, I don't understand. Like, they shouldn't be having to do that in week 1.
Yeah, it's disappointing. And again, I think Dylan kind of, said it right. I think for the Browns, it's a quick bounce back, because you had kind of a down year last year, and they look great this year. This definitely looks like a team that can contend for a playoff spot. And again, like you said, I think this is arguably the toughest division in football right now. But again, the Steelers look very bad. The Steelers look very, very bad against 49ers. Kenny Pickett did not look good. And then the Ravens, again, get a win against the Texans. Very expected. They were expected to win that game. So it's tough for me, because again, I think the Bengals are just a team that has, and like Surge said, and I guess Dylan, I could see him shaking his head when he said most talented in the AFC. And yes, Dylan, your Dolphins are very much in there. But I think the Bengals, like you, Surge, I completely agree. Like, this Bengals team, if you look at their talent, is easily a Super Bowl contender and easily a contender to win this AFC, because you look at that offense, it's just everywhere on the field. And Dylan, like you said, Joe Mixon, a guy who did not get involved that much. A guy who should be getting involved. We know how good of a downhill runner he is. We know how good he is in the red zone. Obviously, a guy who can kind of play all downs. But for the Bengals, it was just a poor performance. And I think, I'm not sure what you can link it to, more to the fact that I think the Browns are ready for that game. I think they took the home field advantage very, very well. And I think Deshaun Watson executed and is starting to hit the ground running a little bit more. So for the Cleveland Browns, I think the takeaway from this game is, we're there. Like, we're right there with the best team in the division, and they should be looking to win that game. That being said, I think the Bengals will win the game in Cincinnati against the Browns. But again, Charlie, I see what you said. I could very much see the Bengals splitting with every single team in this division, like very, very well. So it's tough, because I think each team is in this argument. It's, I think the Steelers and all these teams, it's, I think even the last place team will likely have over 500. So it'll be a very, very good story to see. But we'll move on to the next game. This one, very interesting. Jordan Love sits for 2 years, finally gets his start for the Packers, and he looks good. They win the game. Doesn't throw an interception, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, scored when it matters, scores a touchdown the first drive, scores a touchdown the first drive of the second half, then the drive right after that. put up points on the board, beat a Bears team that, it was not an easy Packers pick this game. So I think for Jordan Love, looked great. What do we think? And I want to talk about Fields and Jordan Love in this, but in terms of franchise quarterback and just two guys who are still kind of fighting for that title, Jordan Love a little more, and I guess they're pretty equal. What do you guys think about this game, and especially hone in on the two quarterbacks?
I, for one, think Jordan Love was outstanding.
Yeah.
I think Jordan Love was one of the best passers in the league this week. I watched. I'm not remembering which touchdown pass it was. I believe it was his second touchdown pass. That was just an absolute bullet. Found a gap in the defense, fit it through a window. He threw a great touchdown. Justin Fields on the other side of the ball didn't look great. I think it wasn't necessarily Justin Fields' fault is the thing. I think what worked for them, yes, I know in preseason, but it was, getting the ball in the playmaker's hands. Fields didn't have a lot of the ball in his hands, and DJ Moore didn't have a lot of the ball in his hands. So their offense didn't really move all that much. DJ Moore, I believe, only had 2 catches. It's got to be higher. And I'm not just saying that because I drafted him in fantasy. Like, I really think that DJ Moore is the best player on this offense, so he needs to have the ball. Justin Fields, I don't know exactly how many rushes he had, how many rushing yards, but it needs to be more. That's what he's really, really good at. And so he needs to have more of that. Because I didn't see a lot of that this weekend. And maybe the Packers did a great job stopping it, but didn't look like it to me. Quite like to mention the best play of the game, Quay Walker's pick 6. One of the best run backs I've ever seen from a linebacker. Bounced off tacklers, made some great moves, and got into the end zone. I mean, that was a fantastic play. And yeah, I think the Packers were thoroughly the better team in this one, so they definitely deserved it.
Yeah, I think, but yeah, no, you can go ahead.
All right. So when is it going to be Justin Fields' fault? Because he's been in the league for 3 years now.
No.
He still doesn't know how to throw the ball. I'm breaking my prototype of a quarterback, which I love a mobile quarterback. But Justin Fields has been a bottom 3 passer in the league since he's got in here. And this was the year that he was supposed to thrive at it. They gave him weapons. They gave him what he needs. And obviously, I'm not giving up 3-year rule. But it's time to start to question, is it the offense's play calling? Is it that, or is it Justin Fields? That I'm just bringing up the question. That being said, I love Jordan Love. He didn't do anything wrong. You found Romeo Doubs when it mattered. Aaron Jones came into the league 5th round in 2017, and he has been a top 10 running back ever since, and nobody has recognized that. So that's something I want to bring up. But I'm just starting to be concerned because the Bears won 3 games last year. It's not a good sign.
While I'm not high on Fields either, at the same time, the Bears were getting way too much hype in this offseason, in my opinion. I kept on hearing about how they got so many weapons, how their team is so much better than last year. But when I looked at the team, besides Darnell Wright, what did they really do with the offensive line? They got DJ Moore. That's a good. I like that move. I did like their receiving core, but their defense, their defense, like their front 4, I don't really know anyone that is actually an important contributor that can be an important contributor on that defensive line. The secondary, they have Jalen Johnson. They have. Did they have Eddie Jackson that game, or is he still recovering from injury? I think he was back.
He's
that
still
game.
out. He's still out.
Him. Jaquan Brisker is okay, I guess, but it's like they got way too much hype, and there was way too many holes in this team for me to really buy in. And now we really saw that Green Bay, much better coach team. I think although they're a very young team, they've got a lot more, they're a more solid team in my opinion. And I think that, regardless of just taking out Fields and Love from the equation, I just thought Green Bay were always a much better team going into this game, and they proved it here.
Yeah, just to like interject really quickly, Dylan, I understand what you're saying. How, when is Justin Fields going to take the blame? I think Justin Fields takes the blame when they actually get a good coaching staff in there.
God damn it, Charlie.
They have such an awful coach. They are such an awfully coached team.
Luke
and
Getsy
all the blame was like, Daniel Jones did nothing wrong. And some people were like, oh, but how can you not blame Daniel Jones? And then Brian Daboll comes in, wins coach of the year, and the Giants are a good team last year. That's what the Bears need to have happen. Justin Fields, I genuinely believe, has done nothing wrong. He hasn't been excellent. There's no, way around that. He hasn't been excellent. They were really bad today. They're on Sunday, but their coaching staff is so goddamn awful that I can't just put the blame on the quarterback.
Yeah,
I hear that. Yeah, I do hear that.
It was so glaringly obvious yesterday that the Packers coaching staff is a staff that prepares quarterbacks. The system prepares quarterbacks to be successful. And you feel like the coaching staff has Jordan Love back, where the Bears go to Justin Fields, go rush around, go make a play, go save us from this game. Justin Fields' rushing abilities should complement his other things. It cannot be the main thing you go to. That's what Greg Olsen said on live TV. It needs to be something that complements him. And Matt Eberflus, defensive coach, comes from Indianapolis. And unfortunately, Justin Fields has been put this weight on him. Like, you have to go and win us these games, when he hasn't been given the tools yet, or he hasn't been given the time to polish as a passer and as someone who sits in the pocket. And I think for the Chicago Bears, when was the last time the Bears have had a very good quarterback or a very good receiver? They've always been we're the Chicago Bears. We're great at defense. We're tough. Like, people are still talking about like the 1985 Chicago Bears, like, oh, tough and gritty and all that. And it's like, Justin Fields has been put this weight on him that you need to go and rush and you need to go and win us these games. And it's not fair. But you look at Jordan Love, who looks so much more composed, and he looks calm, and he doesn't look like he's rushed. And he didn't have Christian Watson, who's arguably the receiver one this year, but he's still getting the ball to Romeo Doubs. And I think it was so obvious to me. And I know I posed the question of who's a franchise quarterback and who's not, but I think it's not fair to Justin Fields, like Charlie said, because the coaching staff just doesn't support him. And then again, to DJ Moore, Jair Alexander is the best quarterback in this league.
Thank you.
And it's not, and it's, in my opinion right now, I actually don't think it's super, it is close, but it's not. And that's Sirs, I know you're gonna get it, but Jair Alexander is incredible. And he talks, and I
love him.
I love him. I mean, so for
he's good. He's good. I'm not even gonna say Sauce if that's what you're thinking. I think Surtain.
Yeah, I was about to say Patrick Surtain. I think Jair the crap out of Devontae Adams.
I still think Sauce is better than Jair, but I think Surtain is CB1. I think.
I agree, but whatever you think. I think they're all there.
I just want to quickly say I fully agree. The coaching was absolutely horrific on the part of the Bears. But Justin Fields' job is to throw the football. He's been in the league for 3 years. He should have some grasp on how to throw the football at this point. That's the point I'm trying to say.
I mean, I didn't watch the full game because I was on. That's true. He has DJ Moore, but
I mean, one receiver against Jair Alexander.
Okay, first of all, everyone says
Mooney is decent.
Everyone says, oh, he has DJ Moore. DJ Moore is like maybe a top 15 receiver, like maybe. Like, DJ Moore is not a Devontae Adams. He's not a DeAndre Hopkins. Like, DJ Moore is a good piece, but he's not a guy who can implement and win.
Good quarterbacks, at least good throwing quarterbacks, can play when there's no one around. So
I think it's more.
Watch the Chiefs-Lions game on Thursday.
I think
Patrick Mahomes is a different story. Obviously, he's a great quarterback.
Fields was consistently running for his life at the same time. Defensive line. Yeah. My fault.
No. It was just completely two different arguments at the same time. Yeah. It was like one of those news segments where four people are arguing. Yeah.
No. I think there is a little bit of blame on Fields, but I think when you watch that game, and I know Charlie agrees with this, like, it was so glaringly obvious that the coaching staffs, there was just such a big difference between the scheming of that. So for me, that's kind of just that's where my head was at for that, at least. But Jordan Love looked great. I think this guy is very much franchise quarterback, at least. Excuse me, that's too early. Can be one. Showed he could be, because again, like I said, this wasn't a cakewalk for the Packers. Like, they were going to this game, and it was not a 50-50 game, but it was damn near close to a 50-50 in terms of who we thought would win. Like, this was definitely a close game, obviously pre-match. So again, for Jordan Love and for Justin Fields, I think the situations are very different. And I hate to be the guy who goes, oh, well, if Fields was in the Packers system, he would be a lot more successful. But I genuinely believe that if Fields gets a good coach, like we saw from Daniel Jones last year, although I know that doesn't hold a lot of credibility considering what happened last night, I do think Fields can very much be a very good quarterback in the league. But I think the Bears look at him as this running, can scramble, can go and get us out of these things. And Fields is just not enough of a mature quarterback in the league yet to be able to do that. And he's being asked to do too much with too little around him. So I think for the Bears, it's just not that. And the Bears, their defense isn't good enough to do that either. Their defense is good, but their defense is not good enough to.
What has Matt Eberflus even done? Honestly?
Yeah, no, exactly.
That's a really good question.
Yeah,
I don't know what he's done yet. I thought he was a good defensive mind. The defense hasn't been good. He hasn't been able to provide any sort of stability on any aspect of the field. I think he's on the chopping block midway through the season.
Yeah, and I even remember when they signed him, I was like, all right, good defense.
It was a very mess signing.
I know Serge's not gonna like this, but just the defensive coach signings to me are always just a little. I feel like you just get like Dylan and Charlie. We know this as a Giants Dolphins fan. When you sign the good offensive coordinator from the good team, you get a lot more excited.
Yeah,
because you just get a lot more excited. And Serge, obviously, I know the Jets.
I see that from a fan standpoint.
It's something really interesting.
But I think Eberflus, it goes beyond just being a defensive coach. He was just a very boring pick. Like
What's super interesting to me is it's the older defensive minds that work out as head coach, a younger defensive mind. And I think DeMeco Ryans might be the best defensive mind in football right now. He's dealt a terrible hand with the Texans. He's going to be out of a job in 2 years, possibly.
No, I disagree.
So Robert Saleh, he is dealt a terrible hand with the Jets. And to be fair, he's helped them turn it around, make them look like something, but they don't make the playoffs. He's out of the job. He's one of the best defensive minds in football. So it's really interesting to see the defensive coaches with more of a repertoire and more stability at jobs in the past are the ones that are staying in their job.
I also want to point out, we're talking about offensive and defensive minds. What about Joe Judge being a special teams mind? Do we want to go back and think that was a good head coaching hire? Going to the next one, we got Dolphins and Chargers. Y'all know I had a hot take on this one. We had Tua, we had Herbert. We had a shootout, which I was not predicting. I said it was going to be like a 30-point game for the Dolphins. Tua MVP season is here, okay? I'm dead serious.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that he's going to win MVP, but he played so unbelievably well yesterday. Some of the throws he was making, the back shoulder fade to a 5'10" receiver has to be thrown so unbelievably well. And he fit it right here for Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill had an unbelievable game, over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Just unbelievable. Tua was fantastic. Chargers didn't look too bad either. But no, honestly, for me, the Dolphins seriously, offensively, just outplayed the Chargers by so much. And the Chargers outplayed the Dolphins defense by a lot too, but not quite as much. And that's what the difference was.
You see, over the years, since the 2020 NFL draft, the question was, after the first season, after the second season, after the third season, the Dolphins made the wrong pick. They should have taken Justin Herbert. And even Dylan Shalom, who has been Tua truther number 1 throughout the entirety of the time, I've had my doubts. Should we have taken Justin Herbert?
You still should have.
The question was answered yesterday. The question was answered, and the answer is no. And this is no hate to Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is a fantastic quarterback, but he had 200 yards on the ground yesterday. He didn't have a defense that couldn't stop the run. He threw for 200 yards, a touchdown, a rushing touchdown. That's a good game. But Tua Tagovailoa yesterday did something that MVPs do. He went out there and he won the game with one receiver and a terrible run game. And one receiver.
I've been giving to a props. One receiver is
Jalen Waddle was taken out of the game.
Yeah, exactly. So they use resources to take him out of the game.
Can you let me finish, bro? Can you let me finish?
Yeah, bro.
But he did things that quarterbacks that are
special.
So
if we're gonna talk about Justin Herbert,
all right, you're gonna relax.
But Dylan. Looking at this game, first of all, and like when we were talking about,
you're gonna relax. Also, I'm gonna finish my statement.
No. Let me say what I have to say because I'll let you go in a second. But when we were talking about Jordan Love, Justin Fields, it was very glaringly obvious. Jordan Love has a coaching staff that supports him. Justin Fields, they
but Herbert can do no wrong. I'm done with it.
I know where
Justin Herbert has been spoon-fed his entire career. He dumps the ball off to Austin Eckler, and people make him out to be Jesus. He is not perfect.
Hang on. The Dolphins coaching staff is a whole lot better than the Chargers.
That might be true, but Tua Tagovailoa played in this game as a better quarterback, trait-wise. And it's been like that through the past season now that he's been able to look better and play better, statistically better. I'm ready for people to start comparing Tua Tagovailoa to the Joe Burrows, the Jalen Hurts, and the Justin Herberts of the world.
And that's it's the fact that you say that is like so. First of all, so clearly biased. And before you let your ego get the best, let us speak. And I know Tua Tagovailoa, you would.
Let me talk.
Let us speak.
Talk.
I understand this is your favorite team. Dylan, you're making it seem like no quarterback in the history of the NFL has ever thrown for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. And let me speak because
I will.
First of all, the game was
going to
close,
get my point in,
and it's not like Tua. Again, Tua played. I'm not saying Tua played bad, and I thought he played great. The Chargers defense, first of all, is the highest paid defense in the entirety of the NFL. They are the team that lets up the most 3rd and 10s. They have a defensive coach that can't even get his defense right, and still had Herbert go out, and it was what, a 2-point game, 36-34.
But why is this Herbert now? Because Herbert had an okay game. They ran for 200 yards.
I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying that whatever. I thought both quarterbacks played well. I'm saying that the fact that you are so quick to jump on Tua Tagovailoa after throwing for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns and winning only by 2 points against arguably one of the worst defenses in the league means he should be compared to Patrick Mahomes and to Joe Burrow.
I never said Patrick Mahomes.
All right, you said Joe. Okay, whatever. The tier down, Joe Burrow. He's not. He's not even close to being there. And you need.
I disagree.
I completely disagree. And I am not a Dolphins fan, but I think what we're seeing from Tua in the last 20 or 15 to 20 games of his career is college Tua. And college Tua is one of the best college quarterbacks of all time. College Tua at Alabama.
Crazy. 15 to 20 games.
It's not, though.
It's
really not.
Last
since week 1 of 2000.
I think 15 to 20. 15 to 20. I'd say 10.
Yeah,
last 10. Because remember, he did
week
have
2 of last season is what comes to mind.
Down the stretch last year, I think he did fall off a little bit.
He had 2 bad games.
What I'm saying is college quarterback Tua Tagovailoa won an NCAA championship in his sophomore year, was projected to go number 1, fell due to injury, and because Joe Burrow had such a phenomenal season. I'm not saying Tua is as good as Joe Burrow right now. That's maybe a little bit of a stretch, but I'm definitely putting Tua in a tier that he is so disrespected to not be in. Tua Tagovailoa is, for me, easily a 3rd-tier quarterback in this NFL. You know, I'm saying Patrick Mahomes is tier 1 alone. And then I'm saying you've got your guys. You've got Joe Burrow. You've got Josh Allen. You've got arguably Jalen Hurts. The past couple of years, you had Aaron Rodgers. Tua Tagovailoa is starting to join that conversation. College quarterback Tua plus Tyreek Hill plus Jalen Waddle is something that you should be terrified of.
It's not.
So I'm gonna end it off here. I'll let you guys finish after, actually, because I don't want to cut you off. But we were talking about coaching and what Eberflus has been doing to Justin Fields and what Brian Dable did to Daniel Jones. I think Mike McDaniel to Tua Tagovailoa is going to be, by the end of Tua's career, because he's going to be a 2nd or 1st ballot Hall of Famer by the end of all of this, is going to be the biggest. It's going to be the biggest coaching change in the history of a career. And it's fantastic. And last thing I'll say, I said before the season, every one of you can bookmark this. I said before the season that Tua is the 2023-24 MVP of the NFL season. Week 1, it looks pretty damn good to me.
How
does it not look good? How does it not look good?
Wait, let me talk.
Stop.
Let me talk. No, I haven't spoken yet. I think, listen, I've talked a lot ad nauseum about Tua the past few years, but this
Beef era.
Beef era was crazy. But anyway, going on. As someone who did doubt Tua, that was probably the best performance of his career. I told you that after the game. I told you during the game.
Yeah.
I think that throw to Hill in that 4th quarter was probably the biggest sign of his growth as a passer.
And I hate to keep talking, but I just want to say,
you
who else makes that throw?
Keep talking, and you
who else makes that throw? No.
It's true. There are not many.
Who else makes that throw? Mahomes makes that throw.
I don't understand where this comes out. You guys are acting like no quarterback in the history of the league has ever done what Tua has done. Like it's not
that common.
It's
really not that common. No. He came back from 2 concussions in 1 season. Game 1 since he's back. He throws 3 touchdowns, 400 yards.
I forgot there's the player who comes after 2 concussions gets the MVP automatically. Dylan, it actually
automatically he threw for 465 yards.
And I forgot no one's ever done that ever. And I forgot that the quarterback that does that the first week of the season wins MVP. Dylan, you are
tier 1 hating.
Dylan, you are the most biased fan that I
am definitely. It's the entire hall down here hates me now because I'm yelling, but I don't care.
No, but the bias is so glaringly obvious. That the fact that you think that a quarterback can throw for 400 yards against arguably one of the worst defenses, and let me speak, I swear to God, if you interrupt me, if against one of the worst defenses in the league, and he deserves to win the MVP. Like
I said it from before the season, though. I'm not saying. I'm saying he is that good.
Just to clarify, Dylan never ever said that Tua Tagovailoa deserves the MVP. He just predicted that he's going to get it.
No. I get why you think I said that, because I've been saying
he just said he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he
just said that Tua Tagovailoa is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He is. He's going to win 7 Super Bowls.
Like you think
the only spot where bias has started to come in is when we get to the future. When we look at the present, Tua had if we're just looking at week 1, Tua is the MVP of the NFL. He was the MVP of week 1.
Okay.
But when we start to get to the future, that's where Dylan's bias you can see comes in. I think Tua's been unbelievable over the last however long. I said 15 to 20 games. Maybe it's 10, whatever the hell it is. He's looked unbelievable over that span of games. Do I think he's going to win MVP? No. Can I say he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer right now? No. That's where Dylan's bias shows.
But that's also where you know I'm
bullshit.
But that's also where you know I'm bullshit
this year. Yes. No, it's obvious.
What are your bullshit? This isn't poker. Like, what are you bullshitting? Like,
I'm just playing around. Like, obviously,
he's just getting hyped because his quarterback just had a monstrous game.
No, I know. Obviously, as a Giants fan, you guys. Sorry, Charlie. I'm not going to come at you. Actually, I'll let that slide because you've been on my side.
I still think Daniel Jones is a better quarterback to attack.
That's actually ridiculous. I'm sorry.
It's not at all.
Okay. So let's speak about Daniel Jones in week 1. Then, so let's see.
That's a good segue.
Yeah, no. Let's talk about Daniel Jones in week 1 because
he started the game 2 for 6, 0 yards, 2 interceptions.
Dylan, I forgot that Tua has never had a bad game.
He's never had a bad start like that. He's never had that bad of a start to a game.
Yes, he
has never had that bad.
Look
at every single one of his
Tennessee
stat lines.
No. Tennessee was
you want to know what happened in Tennessee though? You want to know what happened? It was a bad game. Sure. It was a bad game, but you're down 17-3 and your very, very poorly minded offensive coach is forcing you to throw deep balls.
You can't talk about no. Here, Dylan. I've been on your side, but you can't talk about how Herbert doesn't get excuses, how Tua should be praised, even though
Tua didn't get excuses though. That's the difference. That's the difference. I'm giving excuses, but nobody.
No, but now you can't.
People wanted them out of the league.
No. But
why can't I give an excuse? We're talking about 2 seasons ago now. We're talking about 2 seasons ago now. So much has changed in 2 seasons. Tua has become from maybe a not top half quarterback to a top 6 quarterback. By the end of the season, people are going to be calling him a top 2 quarterback.
Can I just say I completely agree with everything Dylan has said today? It's the most random. But I don't think Tua is like your guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famer because he threw for 400 yards. Yeah, Kean, it's been done before. How can we this is a quarterback who has clearly proven that he has what it takes. Maybe he's got Tyreek Hill. Maybe he's got Jalen Waddle. Maybe he's got a great coaching staff. Maybe he's got I don't know what else the Dolphins have, but this is a quarterback who has clearly shown what he can do.
I'm gonna tell you guys.
I'm sorry, he has what it takes, but they have not made the playoff. I completely forgot.
They made the playoffs.
I forgot.
I'm gonna tell you what Tua does better than any other quarterback in the league, other than Mahomes. He's a better moving around in the pocket than any other quarterback in the league. He has better anticipation than any other quarterback in the league other than Patrick Mahomes. He is better at hitting his players in the middle of the field than any other quarterback other than maybe Tom Brady in NFL history at the rate he's at right now.
Okay, this is getting a bit egregious.
You actually sound like an idiot. Like
that's fine.
That's fine. You sound like an idiot.
Write it on my tombstone.
You think
but you know what I realized?
This has been this is a great performance.
The thing with Dylan is first of all, he's so smart. Oh, he can move in the pocket.
And that's how it started. That's how it started. Now you get Mike McDaniel in there who gets him the weapons. And now you see the output, which is these games against Baltimore, against Cleveland, against LA, against Detroit last season.
Against LA, they win by 2 points. I forgot.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Tua plays defensive tackle and he could stop Austin Eckler. My bad.
They win by 2 points.
How are we going to blame Tua for the 2 points? That actually might be the most upside down logic I've heard on this channel, and I've said some pretty egregious. Where was
J.C. Jackson better than Jalen Ramsey?
Yeah, but Tua made maybe 2 mistakes in this game, and there was one interception that was a bad throw. I will say that there was a couple of missed snaps that were on Connor Williams and on him, but other than that, he did not make one bad play.
Congratulations, he did that against arguably one of the worst defenses in the league. Congrats.
Can I just say?
I appreciate the congratulations. You're a tier 1 hater, bro. You're a tier 1. And I respect the hell out of it.
Did you say it was a bad thing that his best attribute is how smart he is?
No, I'm not. You guys.
That is what he said. That is what he said.
Dylan doesn't let me speak because Dylan is a very.
So what was it that you were saying about his smarts?
I wish I could finish a sentence without Dylan butting in and saying something absolutely idiotic because God forbid someone says something against his boyfriend.
So let me hear it out. What's wrong with his smarts?
Dylan has this, and I'm not saying there's something wrong with his smarts.
What's wrong with his smarts?
Dylan's only thing for Tua is he is smart and he can move in the pocket, and he
has Tom Brady.
He has a bomb of an arm.
He has an accurate arm.
No. I'm not even saying accurate now. Tua Tagovailoa was the most accurate deep ball thrower of the last season. He threw 5 passes. He was. Statistically, he was.
Yeah, look at the numbers. Look at the
last season.
Last season. He was the most.
You're blatantly wrong.
Surge knows. Charlie knows.
No,
I know.
But
look it up.
I agree with that statistically that is correct. Although to be fair, that is
he has the two.
Statistic.
Like he has the best deep ball threat in the league. Yes.
Yeah, he has the best deep.
But you don't hear people taking down Patrick Mahomes because he played with Tyreek Hill. No,
I agree. But the difference is Patrick Mahomes has won 2 MVPs, 2 rings.
Super Bowls.
And now we're getting to what we think is going to happen in the future.
Tua Tagovailoa can move in the pocket like every quarterback needs to do in the league, like every good quarterback needs to do.
Better than everyone else, though.
Serge, you know what they say? I love when I can talk about my quarterback and say he's good at moving in the pocket. That's the biggest.
But he does it better than everyone else, though.
I'm not going to say
biggest compliment in the league. My quarterback can move in the pocket like every quarterback.
Tua is the most accurate passer in the league.
No,
he's the most accurate.
He's not.
The ability to anticipate, move, and throw with accuracy are possibly the most important traits that you can have in a quarterback. That is Tom Brady. That is, I'm not going to compare these guys. That is Tua Tagovailoa. Again, not comparing. That was Brock Purdy last season.
So where is it taken to in his career?
Tua's in the Brock Purdy too.
No. Where is it taken to in his career? Because Daniel Jones is good at any of that. He won a playoff game. If Tua is the best,
Tua was not.
If you guys are essentially comparing Tua Tagovailoa's traits to Tom Brady, and he's been in the league for what? Dylan, how many years has he been in the league for?
He's been in the league for 4 years.
How many playoff games has he won?
He has not played.
How many play? Yeah. There we go.
Would you like me to talk you through this? Would you like me to talk you through this?
You can say whatever you
want.
He played
half of the season in his rookie year because he was coming off an injury.
Not even the second year, he shouldn't even be playing because he shouldn't even be in the court in the NFL.
Okay, so now you've just disproved your entire point because you're hating on a player through injuries. But I'm going to go through.
I'm just saying medically it's been. I'm going to go. Okay, so
that's just not true. That's a bullshit excuse. Kenny Pickett got 2 concussions. Kenny Pickett got 2 concussions last year. You don't hear a motherfucker talking about. Sorry, you don't hear anyone talk.
I also would mention how many playoff games has Justin Herbert won?
Thank you.
But I'm not talking about Justin Herbert.
How many what?
But if you're going through what a playoff win means to a quarterback, why can't we talk about Justin Herbert in the same sense?
When have I been hyping up Justin Herbert this entire video? I have not been at all.
But we're not. But
I'm
that's
just
the
saying,
point.
I'm saying that your quarterback, who you are at this point comparing to Tagovailoa, and Dylan, do not interrupt me. You are comparing him to Tom Brady, and he's been in the league for 4 years and has not won a playoff game. That proves my point.
I'm comparing his traits to Tom Brady. I'm not comparing his successes to Tom Brady. His successes in the future. My belief is
like Charlie said, moving in the pocket.
All right, so now you're the one. So now you're the one disrupting what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm saying completely allowed to.
No, I agree, and I love it. But the traits is what I'm saying is what I'm comparing to Tom Brady. I'm not comparing his past successes. My take, which people might consider Mr. Crazy Head over here, is saying that he could be Tom Brady. That's where his ceiling is. And I see it. I've seen it. And now it's going to start to come into complete configuration. I want to end this segment. If you guys want to end this segment, I'll let you guys talk a little bit more.
Charlie and
I have dominated.
He just said that Tua Tagovailoa could be Tom Brady, and
don't,
he won't
don't worry. My last line is going to be just to put it into perspective.
The fact that you haven't
fan.
left the recording because of he said that, Dylan, that is idiotic.
It's not though.
I'm sorry.
It's not though.
And back to what Charlie said, his incredible pocket movie and the stuff that the greatest quarterbacks need, and he has not won a playoff game in. But
the playoff game logic is just stupid. It's just
you said that he has proven he has what it takes, but he hasn't won a playoff game.
Listen to me. I am giving you so much ammunition to tear me down because I'm being emotional, I'm being erratic, I'm making a bad argument, and you are not doing a good job at it.
You said he compared, Dylan. I don't need to have a good job. You just said that he's going to be
Tom
Brady.
Yes, you do. Because I
post this on social media. You get ripped.
Yeah, go ahead. I am so excited for people to rip me apart because when he wins MVP, they're going to be like, "Oh, that guy from the back pocket was so right."
And
Charlie,
he's
go
not
ahead.
Going to win it.
I just want to put this into proportion for anyone watching. Kian has been the biggest Tua hater since he was drafted, and Dylan has been the biggest Tua enthusiast since he realized he was a Dolphin. That being said, Tua was fantastic on Sunday. The Dolphins thoroughly, in my opinion, deserve to win that game.
Yes.
Let's move on.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think he played, and I would never said that he did not play well. I'm just saying that the fact that this hype coming out of one game for a quarterback who has a great game.
It's not one game.
Can I say so?
Hey, we're done.
Can I say one thing? Not about.
I'd like to argue.
No.
Yeah, I'd like to hear Sarah.
I'm just gonna say it's nothing important. I'm just saying I think that's an all-time segment from the pod.
I agree.
You guys were shouting.
My whole hall is never gonna talk to me again because I think I was loud enough to hear past.
This is Jack is sitting right next to me right now. That was probably one of the first time ever seeing this podcast. That was quite a segment for him to see. But respect to Dylan, but I still think you're an idiot. But we'll move on.
I think you are equally idiotic.
Yeah, hey,
that's where we get.
Let's move on.
But that's what.
Can we just skip the next one too? Like I feel like we did enough.
No, we're not getting away with it.
If it was me or Dylan, y'all would let us have
so
it.
Speaking of quarterbacks and speaking of someone who we mentioned on Daniel Jones, obviously the Giants lost 40-0 yesterday, and there's no excuse there. There's no excuse. That was, and like I said, Serge, and Charlie went to a high school where the football team was atrocious, and I have seen them play better than the Giants yesterday. That was like, if you were to have a nightmare about that game as a Giants fan, I think that was worse than that nightmare could have been. Like, genuinely, like that's
really true.
Utterly terrible of a performance from a team that ended the season. And I know we lost the game to end the season, but ended the season on such a high. And to lose 40-0 at MetLife,
that was an all-time worst performance.
Yeah,
in the NFL.
that was the worst. That was the worst performance first of all, ever seen from the Giants as a very, very long time fan. That was horrific. And from a team that I thought has done a lot, we just had Coach of the Year. That was a horrific performance against a Cowboys team that, like Dylan said, like Charlie said, I don't think has gotten much better. Terrible. But
so I just want to say that Noah Igbenogany scored a touchdown against you. That's my main takeaway from the game. I found that really funny. But yeah, it was a really bad game. There's not much I could say that can sum it up. I'm not nervous about the Giants going forward. I think it was just chalk it up to a really, really bad start to the season. I still think they're a 10-win team. I'm definitely looking at the Cowboys in a more different light right now because they played fantastic. Yeah, but I mean, obviously you can't have played well in a 40-0 loss. So we'll leave it at that.
No, I thought I saw someone put it perfectly. It's like when you play a sport against your older brother and it's like you're just never gonna win. Like, it's just like they're just better than you at everything. And it's like, it's Charlie. It's honestly like, when are the Giants gonna grow up and match the Cowboys? Like, and me and Charlie were talking about it. We did our week 1 picks. We were like, I think this is the one. Like, I think, the Giants, they've done a lot. The Cowboys don't look that much better. Like, I think this is the one. We obviously all like
a lot of people thought so too. I was watching the pregame. We had 9 analysts on there and 5 said Cowboys, 4 said Giants. I mean, it was everyone was expecting a game.
Yeah.
We didn't get one.
Yeah. I think going back to that little brother point, I think watching that first drive, I was kind of thinking, oh, maybe this is kind of the game where maybe they get over the hump. But then John Michael Schmitz with a bad snap, getting into like a bad position on 4th down, and then the blocked kick, and it just killed any momentum. But that offensive line, I think I really liked what the Giants did with their weapons, but they didn't. I mean, I like John Michael Schmitz, and I think he didn't, besides the bad snaps, I don't think he had a terrible game, but Evan Neal does not look like a good pick.
Yeah.
Lewinsky, not great. Ben Bredesen, not great. Andrew Thomas was playing hurt, so I'll give him a bit of a pass, but that was
We also just recognize that that's one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. I agree Evan Neal didn't look good, but that's such a fantastic defensive line. I don't want to talk about this game too much because it kind of hurts, but can I just mention, I was losing 76-50 in fantasy, but I had the Dallas defense. I'm now winning 85-76. They gave me 35 points last night. So if there's anything to sugarcoat this for me, it's I really need Garrett Wilson to go for less than 9 because that would be really funny.
Yeah.
If that happens.
But we'll move on. Charlie, take us away to Charlie's.
All right, we've got a little trivia segment. We're gonna keep track of points, hopefully throughout the season. Right, I've got 6 questions for you today. For every question you get right, you get a point. It's pretty simple. A couple of them change a little bit. But we're going to start. Which of these 4 wide receivers had the most PPR fantasy points this week? You've got A, Puka Nacua, B, Michael Pittman, C, Chris Olave, and D, Nico Collins.
Should we just go? Charlie, when you say ready, we'll do all answer Surge and Dylan will.
Yeah, you got 10 seconds to think about whoever you want.
I already know. I actually already know because I was looking at the waiver.
I think I know.
I know.
Wait, so it's Puka Nakua's, Nico Collins, Michael Pittman, and who was the last one? Olave.
I got my answer.
I think all right, if you're all ready, Kian, you want to start us off?
It's Puka Nakua.
Yeah, I was going to say Nakua also.
I'm also going to say Puka Nakua.
You're all wrong. It's Michael Pittman. Puka Nakua, I was going to make the leader, but then I figured that would be too easy. Puka Nakua dropped 21.9 fantasy points with a fantastic showing. Michael Pittman had 23.7. Just edged him out.
Who is
so
Puka
nobody
Nakua?
Gets. Yeah, it's kind of random, but I
knew BYU rookie.
Yeah, I had no idea.
He's the next Cooper Cup.
They
got two Cooper Cups.
We do have to say this though. You can't switch your answer. So like if
of course.
Of course.
Yeah. All right, so no one got.
Let's go to question number 2. Which of these running backs had the most rushing yards this week? Your 4 options are Derrick Henry, Tony Pollard, Tyler Algier, and Samaje Perine.
Ooh. I'm going Derrick Henry.
So Tony Pollard, Samaje Perine. What was the last?
Tyler Algier.
I'm gonna say Pollard.
I think Algier did.
It was Tyler Algier with 75 rushing yards, Pollard with 70, Henry with 63, and Perine with 41. So Keenan's the only one who gets that one.
I'll take it.
Third question. This is a free response question. I'm not giving you choices. Of the 15 games that have been played this week, we're excluding the Jets and Bills because that's about to start. How many of them were 1-score games? You've got 10 seconds. You don't got like a lot of time to think. 10.
Okay.
9,
I think I have my answer. I think
8,
I know.
7, 6, 5.
Hey, Dylan, what are you looking at? You trying to cheat?
No, I'm just looking at the games.
1. No, you're done.
What?
You're done. How many? Dylan, how many? Dylan, how many?
7.
Dylan, how many?
7.
Kian, how many?
Wait. He just said he was looking at the game.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I wasn't looking at the scores. I have this whiteboard up in my room. I don't have the
I believe
the scores.
7. I'm gonna say 4.
I'm gonna go 10.
One of you actually got this one right. It was 7. Don't get the point for that one.
Man, I don't know. 7 1-score games. Gee,
7 1-score games.
Wow.
Question 4. Let's talk about quarterbacks. Which of these 4 quarterbacks had the best QB rating this week? Your 4 options are Tua Tagovailoa, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, and Jalen Hurts.
It's got to be Tua.
Yeah, Tua.
I'm going Tua.
It's Brock Purdy.
The correct answer is Brock Purdy. Tua Tagovailoa with an 87.7 QBR. Dak Prescott, 72.7.
It really bothered me.
Brock Purdy with a 91.3. And Jalen Hurts, a whopping 36.4.
Charlie,
Brock Purdy had a better week than your MVP.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, how did Tua have an 87.7?
A lot of incompletions.
He threw a bad pick, a lot of incompletions.
And also, I think Jordan Love at the highest. He had like 123. I'm pretty sure
it was Purdy.
Yeah, I did not pick the highest one. I just went somewhere towards the middle.
Yeah.
Question 5. This one's a little bit different. This one, you guys are all going to work together on this one. So you either all get a point or none of you get a point. There were 3 players with 3 sacks this week and 1 player with 2 interceptions. Name all 4.
Oh man! I know the 2 interceptions.
You get like.
Can I say it?
Full guesses.
Wait,
total
Charlie,
guesses. You get
Bates
6 guesses total.
Charlie, what was the question again? It was 3
players with 3 sacks.
3 players, 3 sacks.
And 1 with 2 picks. You get 6 guesses to get the 4.
I know that.
Jesse Bates had 2 picks. Did JC
Micah?
No.
No, it was only 1 with 2 interceptions.
Jesse Bates is a correct answer as the player with 2 picks. Now you need 3 players with 3 sacks apiece. And you have 5 guesses to get them.
Did Parsons
together?
So 3 players had 3 players that each had 3 sacks.
Each had 3 sacks.
So yeah,
you have 5 guesses.
Micah
official guesses.
Do we as the group say Micah Parsons?
Yeah, Micah Parsons.
If you as the group say Micah Parsons, you can say that, and you would be wrong.
I knew.
What?
I actually knew.
No. You're down to 4 guesses for these 3 players.
All right.
I have no idea. Was it a sack heavy day?
No,
It
really
was.
wasn't.
I mean, from these two
I didn't
guys.
think
No,
it
there
was.
were a lot of.
Did Garrett have 3?
I'm
No,
down to put that. I'm down to put that.
I didn't hear. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Garrett.
Garrett.
Yeah, Garrett.
All right. If you guys think so.
Garrett.
Are we confident with our Myles Garrett answer?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also incorrect.
Damn it.
Down to.
Oh, I feel like someone on the Niners.
Three guesses for 3 players, hopefully.
Yeah, I feel like the Niners got to be right.
No,
Oh.
TJ Watt. I think TJ Watt had 3. I think TJ Watt.
TJ Watt did. TJ Watt did. Yeah.
I want to see all your hands because Surge, I don't like you.
TJ Watt did, right?
Yeah, I'm missing a hand, Surge. TJ Watt did have 3 sacks, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think.
Why do you want to see my hands?
I think you know who I think I did. I think DeForest Buckner did.
Oh no, I know who it is. I know who it is because Alex is a Jags fan now. I know who it is.
Oh, who is it?
It's Josh Allen.
Josh Allen did have 3 sacks.
Oh, seriously? No.
So we're missing one player. Y'all got one guess to get this one player.
Is it Buckner?
I'd put Buckner maybe.
Wait. Let's think about it. Dylan.
I think
about all the games. All the games.
It's not San Fran because San Fran rotate their guys. It's not Pittsburgh because that was TJ Watt. It's not anyone in the Miami game. I'm never gonna get it right if I go through it like this. So,
what about the Packers? No, I don't think so.
Oh, is it not someone on the Cowboys? It has to be.
Yeah,
It's
honestly,
7. It had to be.
Could it be DeMarcus Lawrence?
No.
I don't think so.
It was the guy on the side of Evan Neal. Oh my god, I'm forgetting his name.
DeMarcus.
That was different on every
Osa?
play.
What?
Osa?
No, wait, Osa.
I think we go Buckner. I actually do think it's Buckner.
Buckner? I feel like Buckner could have been.
Charlie, sir, what do you think?
All right, you sure?
Yeah.
Buckner.
It's not DeForest
Damn
Buckner.
it.
Your last player with 3 sacks was Drake Jackson of the San Francisco 49ers.
I would have never gotten that.
No
I'm not
way,
gonna.
wow.
I'm not even.
He was a rookie?
Hey, Drake Jackson breakout is real.
Was he a rookie? Oh no, is this his
last year I think.
Yeah,
Second year, yeah.
All right, there we go.
All right, our final question. This one's also a little bit of a different theme. This one's gonna be. I don't know if you guys have ever played like one of those games where you go around and you each name one until people mess up.
Oh yeah.
So you guys are gonna have to name players who scored a rushing touchdown this week. You get 1 strike each, so you can mess up once. We'll start with Kian, then we'll go to Dylan, then we'll go to Surge.
Bijan Robinson.
Bijan Robinson is an incorrect answer.
No, he had a
receive.
Bijan caught one, but did
Oh
not
my
rush
God.
one in. So Kian, there's your 1 strike.
Okay,
Dylan?
Tyler Algier.
Tyler Algier is correct.
David Montgomery.
David Montgomery is correct.
Cam Akers.
Cam Akers is correct.
Raheem Mostert.
Mostert's correct.
Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard is correct.
McCaffrey.
Yep.
Justice Hill.
Justice Hill.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yep.
Tank Bigsby.
Yeah.
That's
a good
Tank
one.
Bigsby ran a touchdown in.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry did not find the end zone this week.
I swear to God.
And that's straight 2 for Kian. Yeah, he's gone. All right, Dylan and Surge.
Travis Etienne.
Travis Etienne.
Oh, shoot.
Dylan, what are you looking at? Stop looking over there.
I'm looking at my scoreboard. I'm looking at my whiteboard.
No, that's not
Come
fair.
on,
I can't look at any of the teams.
Yeah, eyes off the scoreboard,
All
man.
right, eyes off the scoreboard. All right.
Yeah. Okay,
Stay
now I got to
prepared.
think. Oh, Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Austin Eckler.
Rushing touchdown, too.
Austin Eckler.
Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams did not rush for a touchdown this week. 1 strike for Surge.
Josh Kelly.
Joshua Kelly did run a touchdown.
Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs did not find the end zone this week. I'm surprised we missed Tyler Algier after talking about him earlier.
I said Tyler Algier. I said Tyler Algier.
He ran for 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Kyron Williams for the Los Angeles Rams ran for 2 touchdowns. We missed Deshaun Watson, Kavontae Turpin, Justin Herbert,
and
J.K. Dobbins, Rashawn Johnson, Sam Howell, and Anthony Richardson.
Let's close it out, though.
All right. Thank you,
right.
everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Kian McDermott, Charlie Nidell, Dylan Shalom, and Suraj Kadali. We'll see you next time. We'll get week 2 predictions out soon as possible. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. We'll see you next time.